They called them isolated disappearances. A hiker who stepped off the Appalachian Trail to take a photo and never came back. Two researchers conducting soil tests near Stonehenge, gone within a 40-minute window. A documentary crew mapping an unmapped stretch of Amazon rainforest, last transmission filled with static and heavy breathing. Different continents, different decades, different cultures. No bodies, no struggle, no explanation. At first, investigators blamed terrain, wildlife, human error, until someone overlaid the maps and the pattern appeared. Every disappearance happened within walking distance of ancient burial ground. Not just old cemeteries, sacred land, pre-colonial grave sites, ritual mounds, megalithic circles, indigenous resting grounds untouched for centuries. Places where something had already been laid to rest or sealed away. The Appalachian case was the first modern anomaly that drew attention. In 2008, a solo hiker named Daniel Reeves recorded his trek through a remote section of forest straddling the Tennessee-North Carolina border. In his final video log, he jokes about local Cherokee legends warning outsiders not to camp near certain ridges. Spirits guarding the dead, he laughs. Guess they didn't like tourists. Behind him, the forest is silent. Not peaceful, silent. No insects, no wind, no birds, just stillness. He says he feels like he's being watched, not by an animal, by the ground itself. The last 30 seconds of footage show Daniel turning his camera toward a shallow depression in the earth, a circular formation of stones barely visible beneath moss, an old burial marker. The audio distorts. There's a low-frequency hum. Daniel takes one step forward. The video cuts. Search teams found his backpack 3 days later. It was placed neatly in the center of that stone circle. Zipper closed, phone missing, no footprints leading away. The soil around the circle had been disturbed, but not outward, inward, as if something had pressed down from beneath. Authorities called it an animal attack, but no blood was found. In 2016, two doctoral researchers studying soil composition near Stonehenge requested access to restricted land north of the main site. Ground-penetrating radar had revealed unusual density shifts below the surface. They believed it might be an undiscovered burial trench. They documented everything. In one recording, Professor Hallberg kneels beside a shallow trench. The soil composition here is wrong, he says. It's compacted, but not naturally. It's like it was compressed. His colleague interrupts him. Do you hear that? Wind passes through the grass, but layered beneath it is something rhythmic, a pulse. Hallberg laughs nervously, probably equipment interference. The audio spike grows louder, a vibration, not in the air, in the ground. The final recorded frame shows the camera falling sideways, grass bending inward toward the trench, not away. Both researchers vanished. No signs of collapse, no evidence of struggle. Their equipment was arranged in a rough circle, pointed toward the excavation site. Then there was the Amazon. In 2021, a small documentary crew working with local guides attempted to map an unregistered burial zone referenced in oral tribal history. The guide warned them not to step beyond a certain tree line. The earth remembers, he told them. They crossed anyway. Drone footage captured the canopy from above, dense, unbroken, until the drone glitched. For 3 seconds, the image shifted. The trees below formed a circular clearing not visible from ground level. In the center, darker soil, almost black. When the feed stabilized, the clearing was gone. Later that evening, the crew reported feeling tremors underfoot, not earthquakes, localized movement, as if something was repositioning itself beneath them. Their last transmission wasn't visual, It was audio, heavy breathing, someone whispering, "It's not empty," then screaming. Search teams found the campsite intact, tents standing, cameras charging, food half-eaten. The ground in the center of camp was slightly concave, pressed inward like a footprint, but impossibly large. At this point, the disappearances were still treated as tragic coincidences, until an independent researcher plotted every known case linked to ancient burial sites over the last century. North America, Europe, South America, parts of Asia. When mapped together, the locations formed intersecting lines across continents. Ley lines, some called them, energy corridors. But the pattern wasn't random. The disappearances followed a cycle. Every 27 years, activity spiked. 1921, 1922, 1923, 1924, 1925. The next peak is approaching, and the intervals between vanishings are shrinking, as if something below is accelerating. The theory that emerged wasn't about vengeful spirits, it wasn't about curses, it was about containment. Ancient burial grounds weren't created to honor the dead. They were created to anchor something, to hold it down. Stone circles, mounds, sacred groves, they weren't graves, they were seals. Over time, erosion weakens seals, construction disturbs them, curiosity breaks them, and when the pressure beneath builds high enough, the land takes something back. Across all recorded disappearances, witnesses described the same sensation moments before someone vanished. A sudden heaviness, sound dampening, air pressure shifting, and a feeling of being pulled downward, not physically, but internally, as if gravity had changed direction. The most disturbing detail, in multiple cases, search dogs refused to step into the exact area where victims were last seen. They whined, dug at the edges, but would not cross the invisible boundary. Ground-penetrating radar scans of certain sites show hollow spaces far deeper than expected, cavities that do not match natural cave systems, perfectly smooth interior walls, like something moved through them repeatedly, not randomly, routinely. And the soil samples taken near these cavities reveal something impossible. They show trace organic material consistent with human tissue, but degraded in a way that suggests extreme compression, not decay, compression, as if the earth didn't bury them, it absorbed them. So what if the disappearances aren't sacrifices? What if they're maintenance? Ancient civilizations may have known something we forgot, that the ground beneath certain locations isn't stable, not geologically, but structurally, as if something massive exists below, dormant, contained by ritual, stone, and belief. And when belief fades, when sacred land is dismissed as superstition, the seal weakens, and it feeds. Not violently, not chaotically, but selectively. One person, then another, until equilibrium returns. The most chilling part of this theory isn't that people are taken. It's that in several disappearances, hikers nearby reported hearing faint knocking beneath their feet. 3 knocks, pause. 3 knocks, as if something below is testing the surface, practicing, waiting. The next global spike is estimated within the next few years, which means statistically, somewhere near an ancient burial site, someone will step off a marked path. They'll feel the air grow heavy. They'll hear the forest fall silent, and they'll look down at the ground beneath them, just as it subtly sinks inward. No scream, no struggle, just pressure and stillness. So if you ever visit sacred land, a stone circle, a burial mound, an overgrown ruin, pay attention to the silence. If it feels thick, if the air feels compressed, if the earth beneath your boots feels softer than it should, step back, because the ground may not be hollow. It may be occupied, and it may be listening, waiting for the next imbalance, waiting for the next seal to break, waiting for you to stand exactly where it needs you.
And when it does, you won't fall into the earth will rise to meet